this game to propel himself back into that Heisman conversation?
Well, victory would help, and some good numbers. Outside of that, I think we pretty much, know who he is. He's not going to jump on the scene. He's not the surprise that Lamar Jackson is. So, big win at home. Some nice numbers.
Do you recall any matchups in recent memory between two, Heisman front runners? I know Sam Bradford and Colt McCoy went at it a couple times. But anything come to mind?
That's probably the first one that comes to mind. That's a pretty relevant one, and but that's why you go to go to a Louisville or you go to Clemson, so you can play in these games, these matchups.
Well, sorry, Desmond. Despite that matchup there, have you seen a matchup like this ever at quarterback? I mean, when's the last time you remember a matchup like this?
Oh man, I'm probably not the historian to ask that question to. I think those other guys, they're better at answering that question than me. They've seen much more college football than I have. Now, you talk on NFL level, that's different. But college, no, I can't really. I mean, because of the hype with Lamar Jackson, it's just a month, but he's the flavor of the month. So that's why it's so big, If it was December, or end of October, beginning of December, we have conference championship games, then that's a whole different monster.
In a game like this, who do you trust more? The team that's put up the crazy numbers through the first 4 weeks and kind of burst onto the scene, or the one that's won all these games?
Nobody. I don't trust anybody.
But if you're being an analyst for the game, you say there's somebody that's got an edge.
I wouldn't use that word though. I trust this team. I trust that team. I think both teams have shown themselves to be trustworthy, right? So I don't have a team that I trust more. I don't.
Desmond, I'm from Louisville. You were in Louisville 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, great time up there.
What can Louisville fans coming here to Death Valley? What can they expect on Saturday night?
I think the same thing we all expect, a really extraordinary contest between two top opponents and some great fans. Death Valley is not an easy place to play for an opponent, but there's some very nice people here. They've been nice to me.
This is Game Day's fifth time here. Have you been here for one of the Game Day broadcasts here at Clemson?
Oh yeah, I've been here for several. Yeah,
okay.
Several. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
What makes Clemson stand out a little more? What sticks out to you about this?
Each place brings its own unique flavor, and I think Clemson does that. Like I said, the people have been just very extraordinary, just very nice, and this is probably, I think, the best weather we've had so far. We were here for the Notre Dame game last year. You guys remember that hurricane that came rolling through here. So this is probably the best weather we've had so far.
How would you compare Lamar Jackson and Deshaun Watson?
I really wouldn't. Outside of both of them being black, playing the same position, that's where the comparison stops to me. Yeah, Deshaun is a much more accomplished passer, and Lamar is a much more effective runner.
The battle in the trenches, we saw some, at times, Marshall had a little success last week against Louisville's offensive line. You look at Clemson's defensive front, is that where Clemson's got its greatest advantage?
I don't know if they have an advantage there. Time will tell. Tomorrow, we'll see. That's when we play the game, but that's where they're going to have to definitely butter their bread. The defensive line, not only just the defensive line, but Clemson's front seven is going to have to play just very strict, disciplined, fundamental football.
If Clemson is going to stop Lamar Jackson, in order to contain him, is it start with that front seven, or where do you see it coming down to?
You don't stop him. You only try to contain him, because he's, when you have a guy with such extraordinary athletic ability who touches the ball every play, then you're not going to stop him, but you hope to contain him, and that's the front seven. That's going to be their job. They're going to have to be very disciplined. Depending on what Brent Venables does with his packages, if it's a nickel, if it's a dime, they're going to have to be excellent tacklers in space. The only thing a coordinator can do is put you in a position to make a play. After that, it's all on you.
Do you think whoever gets to 35 first is going to win the game?
Ask Falika that. That's a Chris Falika question.
Are there two pretty good running backs that are overlooked in this game, you think?
I think there are two really good running backs. I don't know how much they've been overlooked. Because Clemson has struggled, offensively. They don't look like the Clemson that we saw the latter part of last season. So I don't think that I would say that Wayne Gallman is being overlooked at this point based on what he's done so far this season. And obviously, when you have a guy like Lamar Jackson with Louisville who's putting up the numbers he's putting up, then everyone's going to be overlooked. And this guy's like, putting up some, what do you call it, video game type numbers.
We keep hearing that Louisville hasn't seen a defense like Clemson's. Has Louisville seen a defense like Clemson's? They did play Florida State earlier this year.
True, they did play Florida State early this year. I don't know if Florida State's defense is that good. I mean, the way I looked at Florida State was this: Florida State played 2 meaningful games, Ole Miss game, Louisville game. They only played, if you break those games into halves, so now you got 4 halves. They only played 1 good half of football. The other 3 halves, they were hot garbage. So I don't know if you would really put that defense up there like, this is the defense that we're going to measure our offense against, just because they got the spears on the side of the helmet.
You mentioned that Clemson's offense hasn't looked like it did at this point last year, but does that mean, although yes, a great defense in Louisville, but that we could be seeing a sort of a bust out by Deshaun this weekend? I mean, you think that could happen?
I think for the Tigers fan base, that's what they're hoping. It's kind of like this time last year when Deshaun Watson came out and they played Notre Dame, and it was to me it was the first time that they decided we're going to let him run, because the year before he suffered the ACL and had the surgery, and then to me up to that Notre Dame game they never really had a lot of designed runs for Deshaun Watson, but it seemed like they said we're going to take the let him go, we're going to let him do what he does, and it worked out. So I would think that this week, hopefully, that's what the Tigers fans are looking forward to.
Desmond, going back to the Heisman conversation, you're a Heisman winner. What are your thoughts on the timing of the voting? Last year in the national championship game, you had 2 of the 3 finalists going head-to-head, but of course the award had already been given. Some people feel Deshaun, with the game he had and also being the first 4,000-yard passer, 1,000-yard rusher, he might have won the award if it had been voted on after the game, but that's up for debate. But there was a similar situation in 2005 between Vince Young and Reggie Bush in the national championship game. I was just wondering if you are with the purist viewpoint and would rather maintain the status quo, or if you have a preference or an opinion on that.
Well, I said before the season started, we did a preview show that had the voting taking place after the national championship game. Even in the loss, Deshaun Watson probably would have won the Heisman. But with that being said, I mean, outside of the fan base of the person who it could benefit if it was after the national championship, no one else cares about that. They really don't. So that's why Clemson Tiger would say something like that, or Texas Longhorn fan would make that comment after Vince Young's brilliant performance in the Rose Bowl. But the voting is what the voting has been. So I think that for the most part they've been able to get it right, and the candidates, they got the same time frame to put together the body of work to earn it. So you can't earn it by December, the first week in December, then maybe you just didn't deserve it at that time.
Olympic gold medalist Breonna Rollins is running down the hill before the team comes out. A little faster than the team, possibly.
I assume so.
Well, your thoughts? Well, is she the celebrity picker for this?
Oh no, she's not the celebrity picker. No, but no. But that should be fun though. Make sure you tape that. That should be interesting. I came here during the summer and spent some time with Dabo, and we went up there on top of that hill. It's much steeper than it looks on TV. So I mean, she may want to get a couple of practice runs before she just hop out there with her, Olympic medal form and thinking she's just gonna cruise down that hill. It's kind of steep. It really is. So that should be something to watch.
Clemson's been pretty ineffective in running the ball this year. Yeah. What have you seen out of the offensive line to kind of go along with that? What's been the problem in your eyes?
I just think they haven't been able to gel, so far. It takes time, sometimes. I think that, with Deshaun not being able to run the ball too, I think, when Deshaun's able to run, it helps everything, because it just keeps the defense on their heels. And so I would assume that it helps the offensive line too, because now the defense is so concerned about number 4, break and contain, or just on some design quarterback runs. But since he hasn't been as effective as a runner too, I don't think it makes their job any easier. But with time, with repetition, you get the cohesiveness of an offensive line that starts to really show itself midway through the season.
Who's going to win Saturday night?
Oh man, shoot. I think you got to turn the game to in the game day. I haven't figured it out yet. I'm still trying to, see who has an advantage, who has an edge. I mean, this is really an interesting matchup. I really do think it is, and I don't think it's. What's the point spread? Who's favored? I don't even know.
Louisville
By
in
two.
2 now.
By 2. So is that really relevant? Because I don't know. No. So it's pretty much a toss-up as a pick-em. Okay, yeah.
Clemson opened it at up to.
And
So.
a pretty big swing.
Yeah.
When did the swing happen? After the Florida
Monday.
State game?
Monday.
Oh, Monday? Really?
Yep.
What the hell happened Monday? What happened? What happened?
Here's a quick
Did my man Deshaun stub his toe come Monday or something?
Last question, guys.
quick question, Desmond. But this is an 8 o'clock game, of course. You guys are on fairly early compared to that. What's the difference in when you got the campus is thriving, buzzing for a day game as compared to say an 8 p.m. game? I mean, is it just crazy no matter what behind you guys mostly?
Yeah, well, normally we do the primetime games, and it's very rare that we do a game that's going to kick like at noon or 3:30. We were in Louisville a couple of weeks ago, and that game actually against Florida State kicked at noon. It was a whole different atmosphere, but it was fun because we got a chance to take the set into the stadium, and you could just give our audience the whole flavor, and hopefully they understood that experience, which is great because that's what we do our show for. But outside of that, we just have to wait around. We watch the noon kick, the 3:30 kick, and get ready for this one.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you
Desmond.
guys. Have a great one.